Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Platinum with one Bidoof was, nearly impossible. Let's follow that up with the first Fallout New Vegas run in like 2 years? Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Fallout New Vegas with only rechargers. So the rechargers are exactly what it sounds like. Guns that recharge ammo. Naturally, they're energy weapons, and the first one is an early game one at that, considering it's mostly just meant as a temporary weapon for when you're low on ammo. There's two kinds, the recharger rifles and the recharger pistols. Believe it or not, the pistol is actually stronger and more advanced, but we're going to be starting the game with the rifle since it's weaker and you can get it at the start of the game. We're probably going to have to get the pistol version eventually though, especially since there's a unique version of that should be even better. What we're mostly going to have though is the recharger rifle. As a result of it being meant for conserving ammo though, it's really weak. Not only that, but it doesn't reload normally. It just charges about 1 shot per second up to a maximum of 7 for the rifle, and 20 for the pistol. That might not sound that bad, but considering how weak each shot is, and the fact that most weapons hold more than 7 shots and reload way faster than 7 seconds for a full reload anyway, we essentially have one of the slowest reloading guns in the game. At least we can shoot in between each bullet loading Payday 2 shotgun style. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. Honestly, late game is gonna be so brutal due to our terrible damage output that I'm worried I'll need multiple recharger rifles just so that they don't all break. Maybe I can win, but I think that doing side quests for extra help in the final battle is gonna be a good idea for once. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use recharging weapons. Lastly, only cosmetic mods are allowed. I'm not allowed to use any mods that affect gameplay. Personally, I just don't have any mods installed. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So let's start with character creation. I'm not totally sure if I did a good job on building the character, since it's a little less obvious what our special stats should even be in this game. In Fallout 4, it's really easy to just look up what perks I want and base my special on that, but in this game, perks are an occasional bonus every few level ups, whereas skill is the main thing we get on level ups. So I just tried to pick special points that I thought would allow us to get some decent perks that I know of, while not having horrible stats. So a little extra on some basic combat stuff, a little less charisma and luck, and I'd totally drop my strength, but we need 5 to not have stability issues with the recharger rifle, so it's gotta stay neutral. For take skills, I went with sneak, energy, and medicine. I figure those are all pretty safe. I sneak a lot, and medicine just means that our stim packs are gonna heal us more, plus it's good for a lot of side quests. Last for our traits. Now, all of these have a positive and negative, but I noticed 2 that would be really good. Skilled gives us 5 more skill points every level, but 10% less experience. So we take a little longer to level, but we end up much stronger every level up? Yes, please, that sounds really powerful. I also took good-natured so that we have 5 more skill points on a bunch of non-combat skills at the cost of 5 less points in our combat ones. So basically that lowers our energy weapon skill by 5, something I can offset on my first level up from skilled, and other than that we just start off with extra non-combat skills that I'll actually use. This is like starting the game with a couple extra levels of skill points, it's really strong. So the first thing I do is go to Chet's store in town. Sometimes it sells a recharger rifle and it's usually really cheap, but he didn't have it this time, so I just sold all of our starting gear for caps. It takes 4 game days for stores to restock, so I'll have to wait. Oh, by the way, I'm playing on survival mode. Survival in Fallout New Vegas means that we need to eat and drink or we get stat debuffs, but we can still fast travel and quick save, unlike in Fallout 4. So overall, survival is pretty fun in this game, but considering we have to wait 4 days to restock the shop, I might find myself buying a lot of food. Alright, so I want to show you some of this. I'll make the video small since it's going to be moving so fast that if you were watching at full screen, you'd probably throw up. Now, I swear in like a million of my times playing Fallout New Vegas for fun, Chet had a recharger rifle at the start, so I knew it was a common thing for him to sell. I don't need to convince you of that, most of you have played this game and most of you have probably seen it in the store before. So, you'd think that I'd get it quickly. But after a shocking 7 refreshes of his store, he still didn't have one in stock. It's funny because I have to run to the other store to buy food and then drink from the sink because we're waiting for weeks and weeks on end for this weapon to show up, and it just won't. You know what? I anticipated this could happen. Here's what we're gonna do. This is my first Fallout challenge in 2 whole years, and I really want to play already. I'm gonna stand in the room where you can buy the rifle, use a console command to spawn it in, and then spend the money that it would have costed to get the rifle on stuff that I'll then drop on the floor. That way, I get the rifle in the place you're supposed to get it for the price you're supposed to get it for. Integrity intact. Let's go fight some stuff. So while we walk, let's go over the long-term plans for this run. There's essentially 3 weapons that we can use in this run. There's the recharger rifle, the recharger pistol, which you can put a mod on, but I guess that's still the same weapon, as well as a unique recharger pistol called the MF Hyperbreeder Alpha. Now, I don't know what an MF Hyperbreeder Alpha is, but it sounds not safe for work. The wiki says that it's just a recharger pistol, but with half the magazine size and more damage, and I think some crit chance. It's probably going to be the best weapon that we can get. So I guess the question is, how do I get these things? Well, apparently we can buy a recharger pistol and get it modded at Silver Rush, but we might be able to get the better version earlier. Apparently it's sold in Novak, although it's probably a crazy price that I might not be able to afford early on. That's the goal though, to get that weapon. I've never used it before, so I'm kind of pumped to see if it's any good. First stop, Prim. Yeah, we're going the long way today for the experience, and just to have some fun. Haven't played in a few years. I'm not going to stop off and do the main quests of every town, but Prim is super fast. We have this hotel to clear out of raiders, and honestly, it took like 3 minutes at most to do the ground floor, and that's the only part of the place that you have to do. Our recharger rifle is actually pretty decent so far, considering we're against enemies with little to no armor. Laser weapons work great against low armor targets, but drop off pretty quickly in damage when the enemies start wearing heavier armor. Anyway, we clear the place out, and there's a quest to find a new sheriff for the town. There's a few fun options to complete this quest, but I decided that I'd ask the New California Republic if they'll watch over the town. Normally, I don't go that route, but I think I want to team up with the NCR this run, so why not? Thing is, they say that they don't have the manpower to do it right now, and they've tasked me with asking a knight in another station to send them another squad. I don't know why he gave that task to a random stranger from the wasteland rather than, you know, like radioing in the request. I'm like 99% sure they have radios. Radios existed in Fallout 1, and in the timeline that was long before this. But whatever, back on the road. Man, the binoculars suck. Would you look at this? It's literally zooming in as much as our eyes normally do on a right click. Anyway, travel is still really easy for this bit. Nothing with too much armor. I head to the southwest point of the map to try and talk to the NCR about getting another squad to Prim, but as soon as I walked in, the game crashed. No crash report or anything, just closed. It's okay, it's New Vegas, I expect this to happen. Anyway, I loaded up again and let them know that we need help back in Prim. The guy isn't sure if they had the supplies, but I pointed out that the extra trade from the west would be really good, so he agreed with me. I went back to Prim and let the NCR know. Hilariously enough, they tell me the consequences of if they take over, and then they ask if I'm sure. Like, as if I'm the authority on this, and as if I have any control over this situation. Like, if I said no, would the NCR respect that? I'm not in charge of this town, I'm just some guy. So would they respect it? I mean, yeah, I know that if I say no, they don't take it over, but it doesn't make any sense. Just weird video game stuff, I guess. That got us to level up though, so our energy weapons and medicine skill are both at 50. That's not bad for this early in the game. Back on the road again, this time fighting our way north through some bandits. Believe it or not, this is the first shootout I've gotten into since starting this run, since the only humans I've fought I took out before they shot back. This is our first time even taking damage. We got pretty messed up, believe it or not. I'm feeling really frail, leather armor isn't exactly great, and in this game, leather armor doesn't have like more energy resistance and less bullet resistance like in Fallout 4. Leather armor is just light early game armor. I might need to find something better before we get in any serious battles. So we pass by Nipton, shoot the guy over here while he celebrates, you know, usual stuff. I decided not to walk through the booby-trapped bandit valley that's next, and just went over the hills instead, but accidentally ended up wandering too far off the path and got attacked by Night Stalkers. These things easily could have taken me out if I didn't get them stuck on some rocks. Plus, a caravan ended up walking by and totally saved me near the end. We're almost at Novak. I hope the weapon we're looking for is in stock. Well, when I got there, it's in stock. In fact, I think special weapons might always be in stock. Problem is, it costs like 12,000 caps, and we've got, less than 2,000. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to sell a lot of random junk before I can afford this. I guess I'll have to grab it later in the game. That's alright, this rifle is doing okay for now, and because we don't need to carry a bunch of weapons, we can carry a lot more loot that we can sell to, you know, make the money. Let's keep traveling to New Vegas. I think that we can make it to at least Freeside okay. So it's back on the road to the north. There aren't any major cities between us and New Vegas at the moment, although we'll have to get through Freeside to get to Vegas itself. I figure I'll do some quests for the kings once we get there to get around the wealth check if I don't have enough from selling stuff by the time I get there. Along the way, I got into a fight with some Vipers, a local gang. Most of them were easy, but this leader who takes so many hits to take down. Hey, so story time. So I know most of you guys haven't watched me this long, but 12 years ago, I was here on this very channel doing Let's Plays like I still love to do. At the time, I was playing a lot of Warhammer 40k, Dawn of War. Really fun games, you know, Winter Assault, and Soulstorm, and Dark Crusade. Okay, maybe a little bit less Soulstorm, maybe a little bit more Dark Crusade, but you know what I'm getting at. It's good. In fact, those Let's Plays are what got me past 100 subscribers, which was a really big deal 12 years ago. Crazy how time flies. Anyway, there was a team in that game called the Imperial Guard, and their most basic unit is the Imperial Guardsmen. Imperial Guards and orcs all day, every day, by the way. Anyway, those guardsmen had these awful laser rifles that would shoot out these little red beams that seemingly took 1,000 shots to take anything down. I was once in a games workshop, and I heard the guardsman's laser rifle referred to as an angry flashlight, and that really stuck with me. That is exactly what this recharger rifle feels like. An Imperial Guardsman's angry flashlight. Yeah, I don't exactly think highly of this weapon. It's kind of fun, though. Alright, so we didn't get into any fights on our way to Vegas, so I took some extra time to walk around Freeside to get to Westside. It's not the most eventful place in the world, but there's a pawn shop in here where it's super easy to steal reinforced metal armor as well as a combat helmet. They aren't in perfect condition or anything, but we have some decent money, and we can always pay for repairs from the NCR. Switching to this gear more than doubled our damage resistance. Plus, selling stuff to the pawn shop got us past 2,000 caps, so we can pass the wealth check to enter Vegas without having to do quests for the kings. So the first thing we do here is meet Mr. House. We've been invited to enter the Lucky 38, a casino that no one has entered in a long time. We meet up with Mr. House over his TV screen, and he tells us that he'll pay us if we get the platinum chip from Benny to him. I say yes, of course. I think you have to. I've never tried saying no, at least. But I'm in no hurry. I want to hit up the NCR while I'm still on the Vegas Strip so I can get those quests started. I think that is the earliest that you can do them. After coming out of the meeting, we get a letter that tells us to go meet up with Ambassador Crocker of the NCR. I hit the dude up, and he's basically trying to recruit us. So they know that some kind of big fight is going to break out with Caesar's Legion, and they're hiring locals to help. He needs someone to go talk to the Boomers, a local tribe living on a pre-war military base. They've got loads of artillery, so no matter what faction you side with, you can optionally befriend these guys for artillery support in the final battle. Usually I just shoot the Boomers to make the challenge faster, but I think I'm going to need the help, so I'm going to do their quests. You know, I don't think I've ever done the Boomer quest before taking care of Benny. I didn't even really know you could do this. I don't think I've ever gone straight to the NCR ambassador once in my life. Well, here we are, running towards the base, trying not to get blown up. Go ahead and guess in the comments how many times I got blown up this time. And while you're scrolling down to guess, now's a great time to tell you about this episode's sponsor, Chimera. How's your summer been? You been enjoying it? Hanging out in the sun? Getting some fresh air? Well, up here in Ontario, Canada, it's been non-stop forest fires and the air quality warnings have been going off on my phone constantly, so I've been stuck indoors. To help get through these tough times, I've been wearing the #1 most comfortable around-the-house pants option created by man thus far, the Chimera joggers. These bad boys are super comfortable, so durable that it has no wear and tear after me wearing them at least twice a week for a couple of years, and the pockets are so big that I can fit my entire Nintendo Switch in them with zero risk of them falling out. And I know that's really important because I know that all of us have a Nintendo Switch that we are probably glued to. So if you want to support the channel and look good while doing it, hit up the link in the description to go to Chimera and pick up something comfortable and breezy to wear this summer, assuming you're allowed to go outside where you live. If you're gonna go pick something up, then make sure to use the promo code Mah-Dry-Bread at checkout to get 10% off your order and to let them know that I sent you. Alright, so how many times did we blow up? 3 times! Hey, that's not bad. Eventually, I got by when I remembered you can just kind of hug the left side and get through really quickly. They let us in and we talked to Pearl, the leader of the tribe. She thinks it's time that we finally start letting a little bit of the outside world in, and we're that bit. It's basically our job to help out around the base to prove to the tribe that not all of the outside world is evil, with the end goal being to convince them to back up our side when the war with Caesar breaks out. Or the battle with Caesar and his legion. You know what I'm talking about, the big battle on Hoover Dam at the end of the game. I think you get the Boomer quest in all 4 paths through the game. It's the only tribe that you always have to at least talk to. The rest you usually have to walk to their area and maybe talk to them a little, but not seriously interact with them, whereas the Boomers, you gotta either take them out or do some quests for them. Hey, maybe I should do all the quests where we get all the allies for the final battle this time. That could be fun. I don't think I've ever bothered doing all of them before. So the first thing I did was I went to the medical tent. We have a medicine skill of 52 right now, so I was able to tend to 2 of the 3 patients. That instantly got us from neutral to accepted. That was fast. Next, I went to the museum where Pete tells us about the history of the base.
Ages ago, long before I was born, we lived underground. Everyone had guns, but the overseer wouldn't let us explode anything, not even a hand grenade. Ages ago, long before I was born, we lived underground. Everyone had guns, but the overseer wouldn't let us explode anything, not even a hand grenade. Ages ago, long before I was born, we lived underground. Everyone had guns, but the overseer wouldn't let us explode anything, not even a hand grenade. Ages ago, long before I was born, we lived underground. Everyone had guns, but the overseer wouldn't let us explode anything, not even a hand grenade. We left
Oh my god! He just started saying the next line!
Knives. We blew them up with frag mines and grenades, burned them with flamethrowers. It was neat.
I don't know what I did to fix that.
For every 43... I'm pleased that you listened to the entire story. Perhaps there are...
Man, I thought there was no way I was gonna finish that quest. That was a classic Bethesda glitch. I don't even think that's the first time I've got that in my life. Next up for the quest was repairing the solar panels around the base. If you have a decent repair skill, then you can do this pretty quickly, but I don't, so I needed to salvage broken solar panel parts from the local power plant run by the NCR. They literally let us walk in and take their stuff, so we don't have to sneak or anything. They don't even remotely care. Like, I know I'm kind of working with them, but I didn't tell them that. None of the people at this base are aware. You'd think they would want those spare parts to repair their own solar panels. Anyway, that leveled us up, so I got to 60 medicines so I could treat the last patient. That got them to like us a ton. So it looks like we're done. Let's go talk to Pearl. So Pearl tells us to talk to Loyal. Gee, thanks. So I talk to Loyal. He tells me there's a bomber in a nearby lake that he wants help floating to the top. They've got some spare parts, and they want to see if they can get it flying again. He says that someone there can make a rebreather to help us dive underwater, but they'll need spare parts from a pressure cooker, and I don't have one. I'll be fine. Man, where is the interaction point on this thing? I'm checking it everywhere. So I tried diving up and down like 50 times and couldn't figure out where I'm supposed to attach these flotation things. I remember it being under the wing, but I just don't see anything popping up. Fine, I'll go buy a pressure cooker for like 30 caps at a store and get the rebreather. Okay, here's the spots. Man, that is honestly really hard to see. There we go, it's up. Oh, and I don't count using the switch here as using a different weapon on account of that being a really stupid reason to end a challenge video. How unbelievably boring would that be if I ended it here because I used a switch that didn't hurt anybody? Back at the base, and Pearl basically worships us now that we came in, fixed a ton of stuff, and made their dreams about the bomber come true. They said they'd do anything for us, so I let them know to back me up in case the battle on the dam breaks out. They're 100% on board. Let's go report back to the ambassador. So we let him know that the boomers are with us, but he has a new job for us. The NCR has been clashing with the local gangs in Freeside, the Kings. Normally, I get them to end their hostilities by doing a few quests for the Kings, but he actually gives us an option to assassinate Pacer and frame somebody else for it. Pacer's the member of the Kings that seems to be picking these fights. That sounds super fun, actually. Now, we could just take him out with our recharger rifle since it's an energy weapon, so they'll think the Van Graffs did it. But we have medicine skill, and I see a way funner solution on the wiki, so let's do that. First, I go to the old Mormon fort and search around for some medical files on the locals. We end up finding one that says that Pacer is addicted to jet. In fact, it also says that he's got a heart condition and the jet is making it worse. It says that no stimulant like Psycho should be taken, especially alongside Jet. We could also learn this by giving a bunch of money to a local ghoul, but this way's free. Now that we know about the Jet, we let Crocker know. I need to show you this interaction.
That could be useful, but I'm afraid I don't have the background and know how to take advantage of that knowledge. Remind me never to get on your bad side. If that's true, then yes. That would be a suitable way to get rid of him.
Alright, well this guy's officially unable to put 2 and 2 together. How is this guy an NCR ambassador? Anyway, he signs off on the plan. I don't know why he had to, but whatever, apparently it's required. So I waltz into Pacer's bedroom deep in the King's place. There's no security, nobody cares. People saw me walk in here. There's nothing, nobody cares. I spike the jet, go find him, and he's suddenly compelled to go to his room. I legit open mouth guffawed when I saw that. Oh man. All right, now I've got to make sure that everybody thinks that it was simply just a heart attack. Hey, beep beep, Pacer coming through. King, look! I think something happened to Pacer. I, for one, think it was natural causes. So I let the ambassador know that the job is done. He lets us know that Colonel Cassandra Moore at Hoover Dam wants to talk to us. Man, I had no idea I could get this far into the NCR questline without taking out Benny. I haven't even met the guy. I'm gonna keep going. Let's see how far we can go with this. All right, so we meet up with Cassandra Moore. Now we're on the quest where we get sent around to each minor faction to either ally with them, leave them alone, or wipe them out. Although I think with the NCR, you're not really allowed to leave any of them alone. First are the Great Khans, a raider group. Now, Miss Moore tells us to wipe them out since they're raiders and they're allied with the Legion, but I know that even as the NCR, you can recruit the Great Khans. I haven't done those quests in so long that I don't even remember them. Let's give it a try. So on my way over, I ended up stumbling into a group of raiders, and oh boy, it's Cook. That's a raider with full body metal armor and a flamethrower. I took out the other raiders just fine, but I was hardly doing any damage at all to Cook. Eventually, they ran out of flamethrower ammo and picked up a shotgun. I shot it out of their hands, and I thought I won the fight when the game crashed. Come on, man, I don't even have mods. I forgot I used to use a frame rate limiter to try and make the game more stable. I'll boot up DxTory and see if that does the trick. Hey, future MDB here, spoiler alert. It crashes like 8 more times. I don't even bring it up half the time it crashes. The frame limiter didn't help anything. It's just Bethesda, man. This game never used to crash for me. That's the crazy part. It didn't used to crash. I don't know what changed. Okay, second try, and this fight went a crazy 7 minutes. First, Cook was using an incinerator, shooting fireballs at us. I just keep shooting the gun until it flew away, just for him to pull out a flamethrower. That's not good. So I keep running around, shooting, keep healing, and eventually that gets knocked away. So he pulls out a lever shotgun. How many guns does he have? So I spent another minute shooting away at his arms and gun, just for him to drop the shotgun and pull out a second lever shotgun. Are you kidding me? We're on gun 4. Another minute later, he still has loads of health because these body and arm shots are hardly doing anything. And finally, he drops the gun and starts punching a little bit. I thought I had him on the ropes, when suddenly he picks the broken flamer back up and it just works. I end up shooting it out of his hands a few more times, but he just keeps picking it up. For some reason, the gun just won't break like the other ones did. Eventually, I gave up and just kept going for headshots. It did almost nothing at all, but it was slightly better than the arm shots. We ended up fighting for so long that other members of the Vipers started shooting at me. Eventually, we got the win. Man, that was awesome. That's the best boss fight I've had in any of these Fallout challenges. It was just some random raider boss that I bumped into on my way to the Great Khans. Like, I think Cook is just a member of the Vipers. So we get to the Khans and I talk to some random guy and ask him what he thinks of the NCR. He says he doesn't really like them, but he'd rather be with them than Caesar's Legion, but that Papa Khan is in charge because of a massacre at Bitter Springs. You actually hear about that massacre a lot over the course of this game. That's a lot to take in right now. We tell Cassandra about this, and she says to assassinate Papa Khan since the next in line to lead the Great Khans wants to work with the NCR. Man, they just love assassinations, don't they? I think I'll go the diplomatic route this time instead. It seems like if you go the diplomatic route, they never fully side with the NCR, they'll just break their alliance with the Legion and not work against you. Whereas if you assassinate Papa Khan, then this dude will actually ally with the NCR, as far as I can tell. But I want to take the diplomatic route. I've never done it, want to see what happens. So I talked to Papa Khan about the idea of breaking their alliance with Caesar and joining up with the NCR, but he shuts it down pretty hard. NCR had a massacre against the Khans in the recent past, and Papa is intent on getting revenge alongside the Legion. He seems intent on making sure the Khans are powerful again and can achieve some kind of glory before he dies, and he seems to think that aiding Caesar will help him with that. There's really no talking to him right now. As soon as we get outside, Regis, who's the guy we talked to before, wants to talk to us about allying with the NCR. Again, he doesn't seem to acknowledge that we've already talked about this. He says that if we can convince everyone else to agree, then Papa will agree. So first I talk to Diane. She says she wants Caesar in charge since he can help keep the shipment safe, but she doesn't understand that chems are illegal in Caesar's Legion. I don't have proof on me, so I need to go get some. I could also convince her boyfriend, and apparently convincing either one would work, but my speech skills suck, so that's just not happening.
Hey.
So instead, I walk across the entire map to a Caesar's outpost that I needed to get to at some point anyway. Yeah, so our marker told me to go here, and it's a Great Khan guy on a cross. I let him down, and he says that Jack and Diane sent me, even though I don't think they brought up that this guy exists. He goes back and lets them know what happened, and they both agree that they should ally with the NCR instead. Success! Next, I went to the room of Carl, the representative of the Legion here in the Great Khan's base. I grabbed his journal showing what they really think of the Legion. I showed it to Papa, and they shoot Carl on the spot. Only one more person to convince, but she's really far away. Would you look at how many death claws are out here? So I've spent the last 30 minutes trying to get to the last person's location from all different directions, but there's always these crazy hazards, right? The person we're looking for is in the middle of a quarry, and the quarry only has one entrance, and damn, it's hard to find. Death claws, cazadors, and nests of rad scorpions are all over the place. Really bad stuff. I snuck around from every direction and eventually found this little opening where I could climb up the mountain. It seems like the death claws here are only on one side of it. The other side is kind of monster-free. It took a little while, but eventually I reached Melissa. Looks like she was lied to and told that she could become some kind of high-ranking soldier in the Legion. Once we told her that women aren't allowed to serve in the Legion and that she'd probably be a slave sold off to an officer as a wife, she no longer supported the Legion. Well, that's all the high-ranking people. Let's go talk to Papa again. So he lets us know that his advisors say to break the alliance, but he isn't quite ready to do it yet. He wants to attain glory before he dies, and he doesn't know where to start. So we talk to the followers of the Apocalypse a bit about their studies of the Great Khan, and they tell me to go find a member who studied them. So I do. He's just at a trading post that we've been to before, you can't really miss it. He hands us a book on the Mongol Empire and tells us that the Khans are based off them. He also references Fallout 1 a little bit, so that's cool. Basically, if you didn't play Fallout 1, really early on in Fallout 1, you can basically completely ruin the Great Khans, and I believe in the canon of the Fallout series, that is what happened. That's why they weren't a big deal, and here in New Vegas, they're talking about their former glory. Because in the Fallout 1 days, they were really powerful raiders, but you couldn't take out their leader early in the game, and it's just assumed that happened. I did a Let's Play on Fallout 1. Okay, well, my first Let's Play Fallout 1 was when I was a 17-year-old, like 13 years ago, and it's probably unwatchably bad. But I did another Let's Play of it, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and people tell me that that one's still good. So maybe go watch that one if you're interested, but please don't watch the original one. It's unlisted, so it's no one's first impression of me, but it's in the playlist section if you really want to see the humble beginnings of a young teenage MDB. I'm rambling, let's talk about the run. Anyway, I give the book to Papa Khan. He still isn't willing to side with the NCR, but he's willing to break the alliance with Caesar and migrate out of the valley when the battle starts. You know what? That's progress. I'm up for it. It gets them out of our hair, and it keeps them from fighting against us in the final battle. Maybe in a different run someday, I'll just take him out and see how different it is. So the next faction we have to deal with are the Omertas. They run one of the casinos in Vegas. We need to figure out what they're up to, figure out if they're working against the NCR, and deal with it if they are. Apparently the receptionist owes the NCR a favor and might give us some info. See, the problem is we can't bring our recharger rifle in there, and I think there's a shootout at some point. There might be a way around it through speech checks, but I doubt we're good enough for that. Let's just see how far into this quest we get. So I talked to the receptionist, and she told me that I should talk to Caccino, since he'll talk. Okay, I go to find him. After a while of hunting, though, I realize I can't find him anywhere, and the quest marker is just pointed at this spot on the floor. So I went on the wiki page. Here it is. He hasn't spawned yet. Well, why did it give me the quest to meet him if he hasn't spawned yet? Anyway, it says he won't spawn until I either finish a whole other quest in here or until I talk to Yes Man about the Omertas. Well, I can't talk to Yes Man until after I take out Benny, and I'm seeing how long I can go without doing that, so I guess I'll just do an entire extra quest. Or so I thought, because while I was recording the footage to show you that he isn't here, he suddenly walked to the marker I've been waiting at and starts talking to us. Thank you so much for showing up. You just shortened my workday by a lot. Guess the wiki was wrong for once. Anyway, he threatens to end us a few times. I could break into his room to find evidence of what he's doing, but I can also just pick his pocket. So I follow him around the casino in the most inconspicuous way possible, and the moment he sits down, nobody can see us, so I just take his journal out of his pocket. It's got a lot of transactional detail on stuff he's doing behind the Omerta's back, so this is worth something to him. Once confronting him with it, he agrees to let us know what's going on. Apparently some higher-ups in the gang are planning something big with muscle and guns, so it's our job to figure out what's going on. Let's go find everyone to talk to. First is Troik. I think he might be a reference to Troika Games, but I'm not sure. Apparently he blacked out on chems and killed someone, but when I questioned him about that night, it seems kinda suspicious. I asked him what chems he was on before he blacked out, and thanks to our medical skill, we could point out that that just wouldn't make him black out. I need to either look for evidence or find Big Sal. Well, I'll find Sal first. Maybe I can talk my way through this. So I track the dude down. He's not really willing to tell us anything juicy about Troik, so I do my usual strategy. Wait for him to sit down, sneak, and steal. Looks like he had an office key and a password, so I took both. Now I just gotta find his office. Alright, it was a few rooms away. I walked in, used the password to unlock the safe from the terminal, and got a blackmail note from it. As expected, Troik didn't kill anyone, he was framed. So we show it to him and he lets us know the secret. The Omertas have an illegal gun stash in the basement. He gives us a key and some thermite to blow it up. I'm not gonna go down there right away though, there's still more to learn here. So next I talk to Clandon, the other person that we were told to talk to. He's clearly playing dumb though, so I pickpocketed his key. I was kind of hoping for blackmail or a journal like the other guys, but whatever. I explore around near the guy's room and found there's this massive blood trail going from a kitchen to a bathroom. Yeah, this dude's up to something. I gotta figure out where I can use this key. So I start checking doors up and down the hall when I find this one with a dead lady on a table. Well, that's a little out of the ordinary. I check her body and the medical skill says that she's been dead for less than a day. Hey, have you seen this? Do you care at all? So I went back to talk to Clandon since his key unlocked the murder room, but there's no new dialogue. That's weird. Alright, let's just go do the thermite thing. So I go to the storage room, steal a bunch of stuff to sell, and set up the thermite. Hey, there is a flamer in there. You know, it's only against the rules if we use it on an enemy, right? Man, I was kind of hoping that would blow up the whole room. That'd be kind of funny. Alright, so I leave the room, close the door, and hit the detonator. Now let's go let our guy know what we did. I don't know why the whole building doesn't know what we did, but nobody knows what we did. Okay, so here's the weird part of the quest. We let him know that Clandon wasn't talking, and he said that if we take him out, it'll help us. But he also lets us know that the last part of the quest is to go confront the bosses right now and have a shootout with them, and that he'll supply me a gun, but I won't have my recharger rifle, and that's kind of the whole point of the challenge. We can say no to doing this right now, but he just walks up into that room, and as soon as we walk in, the whole thing starts, so like, we don't get to make any other progress. Do we allow punching when we have no weapon? Do we level up until we have a whopping like 80 speech to bypass the fight? Or do we just try the fight a few times and hope that Cachino can take them out both for me? I guess there's no harm in trying the last one first, right? Okay, so weird situation. I can't go deal with Clandon even though I said I'm not ready to fight the bosses yet. They just hang out with their guns out until our dude gets here. Once he's here, this happens.
This place
Hey,
smells like
here's that
booze
gun
and
I
sex.
promised you.
That's
I
why
suggest
always
using
come
it
back.
while they are
Let's have
talking.
some words.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna
Take a
kill
seat
you
on
after
the
they've
couch
talked.
so we can get to talking.
So we sit on the couch, they say I'm gonna die, and I run to the back of the room. I give our guy a few seconds to fight, but he quickly just started trying to run away into a locked door, so I ran up, unlocked the door with a stolen key, and jumped the balcony to get away. Hilariously enough, though, the guys chasing us died in under a minute. The Omerta security considered them the aggressors and took them out. That was super easy. Now we just have to report back to the NCR and let them know that the Omertas aren't a threat anymore. I can't believe how well that went. So we report back and let the NCR know what's up. They give us our next quest, to take out Mr. House. Wow, I can't believe we can get all the way to the quest where we have to take out Mr. House, and we still haven't even met Benny. Well, normally to hack Mr. House's terminal, you need the platinum chip or high science skill, but we don't have either of those. So instead, I go all the way to Camp Gulf, an NCR base. It's because in one of the offices here, you'll find a Lucky 38 keycard. You can get one in H&H Tools as well, but that place is a lot more dangerous. Also, we're far enough into the NCR quest that we have a bounty from Caesar on our head. The Legion will likely attack us on sight from now on. I still don't have a platinum chip though, and don't you use that under Caesar's camp? Maybe I don't need to do that in this ending. I don't think I've actually ever personally done the NCR ending, now that I think about it. I think I did most of the NCR quest once growing up. Don't think I finished it though. At least my achievements don't say I did. Anyway, I go to the Lucky 38, eat a good 3 steaks, get some water, and sleep to get all of our debuffs removed. Then we ran upstairs, used the keycard on the terminal, sprinted to the elevator, and took out House. We were so fast that the robots didn't even have time to fire a shot at us. I leveled up, buffed our sneak a bunch, and now the robots aren't hostile on the way out. Super easy, let's report back. I report back, and she says that the president is gonna visit soon. Right, I forgot about this. You remember in the sneaking run where I had to shoot him? Well, in this one, we've got to protect him. Not yet, though. First, we have to deal with the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, the NCR is absolutely convinced that we'll have to wipe them out or take out their generators since they won't talk to us. But that's what she thought about the cons, too. I decided to go the friendly route. You only need to beat the second Brotherhood mission to get a truce, so that's what I'll do, although I remember it being kind of a long one. First, I get Veronica from the trading post. I think I called her Victoria in a previous challenge. The comments ate me alive for that one. Anyway, she's from the Brotherhood and a super easy companion to get just by talking to her, so I get her. By having her on the party, we get to bypass the entire first Brotherhood of Steel quest. That means we get a huge head start on getting friendly relations with the Brotherhood. Getting a truce between the NCR and the Brotherhood this way will cause a little bit of a reputation loss with the NCR, but it's honestly not very much at all, and is probably a much safer method than trying to wipe them out, especially considering our gun is completely useless against power armor. So we get in there, and the Elder gives us a mission to go find the holotapes of 3 scouts who never came back. Honestly, this is a pretty easy part of the mission that I feel like I've done a million times. This whole first section of the mission, you don't have to fight anything. There's a few centaurs that'll try and hit you, but you can easily outrun them. The other 2 areas for the dog tags don't even have any enemies, so it was a breeze. For the second part of the quest, we go to meet up with some scouts to gather their reports by Nipton. So this is actually a hard mission now, but not because of the mission itself. Instead, it's the Legion assassins that are after us. Our guns do almost nothing to them, and they can spawn in a lot of places on the map. Veronica just gets killed every single time since she runs at them in melee and they just swarm her, so I think it's time to get a new companion. Let's get Boone real quick. He's an amazing sniper, he shoots the Legion on sight, and he's way less likely to get surrounded. Plus, very quick to get. We all know this quest, right? Boone's wife was sold into slavery, so he mercy killed her with his sniper while she was up for auction. Naturally, he's got a blood feud with the Legion, and not just because he's an NCR sniper. In Novak, he gives us a quest to find out who sold her into slavery, so he can shoot them. I'm sure I've shown this quest on the show before, it's a classic New Vegas one. The person who had her kidnapped and sold was the owner of the motel. The hilarious thing is, you never actually need the proof ahead of time to have her shot. Just agree to find the slaver, have her follow you, Boone will shoot her, then you loot the key off of her, run to her safe, get the proof, and run back to Boone. He doesn't even care that you didn't have the proof before he shot her. And just like that, you have one of the best companions in the game. Plus, he's got this awesome perk where he marks things on the compass for you, so you never need to worry about being snuck up on as long as you pay close attention to it. Plus, if you hold right-click to look down your sights, enemies glow red now. Unbelievably useful. Anyway, now that we have Boone, it's much easier to travel. His default gun is strong, hits from far away, and most importantly, never runs out of ammo, of course. He hits way harder than we do, and he is an absolute lifesaver. We fight our way through Nelson pretty easily to save a bunch of NCR guys that originally they wanted us to mercy kill. I don't know why the base only had like 10 guys defending it. That lets us get to another one of the scouts, so the only one that's left is the one that's right by where the Legion keeps jumping me. Wish me luck. Alright, check this out. There's no Legion here, we literally have the ability to track them. We got into a cutscene because we take out a coyote and boom! The Legion assassins spawn immediately behind us. That was so cheap! We fought for a little bit and took out a couple, but Boone died, so we were doomed. I still need like 3,000 more caps before I can buy a better gun, but we really need it. I reloaded, gave Boone my leftover, almost broken heavy metal armor, and then headed for Cottonwood Cove. If I remember right, the Legion here are mostly weak with 1 or 2 strong ones. Maybe we could clear the place out and find better gear to give Boone so that he can back us up better. This place ended up being really fun to clear out. As expected, as long as we keep our distance and advance slowly, things go fine. I didn't really find much great loot, but a lot of these guys were dropping hunting rifles, and I can sell those for a pretty decent amount of caps. So that might help us get that new gun that we want. The boss of this place went pretty well too. His old helmet is great for Boone. I mean, he looks like an idiot, but at least he won't die easily. Alright, let's see if we can handle Death Valley yet. Nope, still can't handle it. They ambush us from behind a rock, and Boone gets taken out in like 5 hits from a super sledge. Okay, do I want to buy the recharger pistol or save up money for the unique recharger pistol? I'm gonna sell some stuff and see how much we walk away with. Okay, so after going from shop to shop to sell all my loot, I had about 10,000 caps. We need something like 2,500 more, so I started going back to old places that I had cleared out but hadn't fully looted yet, knowing that that would be pretty safe. You usually get ambushed by assassins going between locations, so by only fast traveling to places that I've already been and looting those, I avoid having to actually go anywhere that they are allowed to spawn and ambush us. At least, until we're ready for it. Okay, after picking Nelson clean of loot, we finally have exactly enough money for the new gun, so it's back to Novak. Wait a minute. Never mind, we're a few hundred caps short. Okay, give me like 5 minutes, I'll go ransack Nipton. Okay, now we have the gun. I'm honestly really pumped to give this thing a try. I get the feeling it's probably gonna be more of a novelty than anything, but I've always been really curious of this thing. Who doesn't get curious about the insanely expensive guns that you never end up buying, right? Oh wow, this is a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. So the fight with the Legion is still really hard and we take a lot of damage, but this thing recharges very fast. The wiki didn't make that clear. In fact, if you hold down the fire button, it rapid fires. It seems to lose its effect pretty quickly at range, but close up, this thing could deal some crazy damage. I think I'm supposed to be using it like an SMG. I can't believe that we needed to get a new companion, new armor, and make over 5,000 caps just to get a weapon, all to prepare us for this one ambush. Finally, we can finish the quest so the Brotherhood likes us, and then I let them know that the NCR wants to destroy them. They agree to a truce, and we can finally move on to the next step of the main quest. So we give them the report, but because it's the quest that never ends, there's another step. We have to go get the components to repair the air filtration system. Problem is, the parts are in 3 different vaults. Gonna be honest, I kind of forgot about this part. This might take a while. First is... Ooh. Alright. I didn't know Vault 22 is part of this quest line too. Okay. Well, I love the idea of this vault. It's overrun with killer plant monsters, right? It's creepy, it's unique, it's super cool. The problem is, I remember it being really hard, and I'm so tantalizingly close to the end of the challenge run, late into a Friday recording session. I gotta get this done. Let's rock our way through these vaults with our new recharger. Right, so Vault 22. It's kind of a puzzle place where you're going up and down floors, looking for stuff, unlocking areas, and being careful not to get ambushed by spore carriers. They're these weird plant zombie dudes that hide in the foliage, and they aren't aggressive right away, so you can't just target them with VATS. They're annoying, but if you get the drop on them early, then laser weapons do a really good job of taking them out before they actually attack. There's not much to show here, but it took an entire 21 minutes to find the air filters we need. That's much longer than the average dungeon in the game, and that's considering we had no real fights. I don't think myself or Boone took a single hit the entire dungeon. Next is Vault 3, the one overrun by fiends. They're your standard crazy raider group. Honestly, this place is super easy since everybody has terrible armor and are in close quarters. This is the perfect environment for an SMG, and ours is pretty much specially made for dropping low armor dudes in close range. I got a little lost, but it didn't take super long to find my way through. The item we needed was in the boss room, but like, this place was so easy that the boss didn't even stand up out of his chair before I took him out. One vault left. Last is Vault 11. Now, it's a really good thing that we have the rebreather because this makes this place a lot more tolerable. This one really wasn't bad, the fastest and easiest. Just some rats and mantis. Nothing here could hurt us, nothing even hit us. Only took 4 minutes to get the item I needed. Let's finally finish this never-ending quest line. Okay, finally, after turning it in, we have great relations with the Brotherhood, and they'll talk to me about the NCR. Not only are they offering a truce, but they're offering to back us up in the defense of the dam. Nice. If they don't back me up in the actual final boss fight, though, then it's totally not worth all the effort, and I'm like 95% sure that they are not going to back us up against the boss. So I go and let the NCR know. Again, we take a small fame hit, but that's fine. We have way more than enough. It's for a good cause. They let us know that it's time to prepare the security for the president, and that means we have an assassination to thwart instead of causing. So we say we'll prepare tomorrow. It fades to black, and the game crashes. Awesome. Thanks, New Vegas. Anyway, second try, and this was super easy. We just wait for the president to show up, pickpocket the obviously suspicious guy, give the detonator to the guy in charge of security, they kill the assassin, and the president gets home safe. It took like 1 minute. It was super easy. Hey, so you see how I have this lucky 38 keycard in my inventory that you literally saw me use earlier in the run? The one you saw me get at Camp Golf, right? Well, why do I have this objective? The funny part is I only got this quest after I used my lucky 38 keycard once, so like the game knows I have it. If anybody in the comment section knows why this is happening, let me know, because this is a new one for me. I don't even know why this would be programmed into this specific quest line. Oh, wow. So I handed in the quest, and they let us know to go meet up with some NCR general for the next one, just to get met by the point of no return screen. I kind of figured I was going to get sent to Caesar's camp for something to do with the platinum chip at some point, but we really didn't. We just got all the way to the end of the game without even meeting Benny or getting the platinum chip. I had no idea you could do it like this. Well, I made a backup save. Here's one last look at our stats. Our energy weapon and sneak skill are both maxed, with us also having pretty high medicine. Outside of that, though, it's mostly what we started with. For the important perks, I took finesse. It increases our critical hit chance, and our best weapon shoots fast and has a crit bonus. So I figure that stacking those two might make us a crit machine. I figure we'll need that for the final boss battle, considering he's very heavily armored, and our weapon isn't so great against heavily armored guys. I also took the perk Sniper. It just gives us an easier time making headshots and VATS. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. So first is the underground part of the dam. I absolutely hate this place. I get lost constantly. It doesn't help that I've done this area on different sides of the war, so I get the objectives kind of mixed up. I have a side objective to like flood some tunnels down here or something, but honestly, it doesn't matter. I fought a ton of groups of Legion down here, but it's usually pretty easy because they just bunch together and my gun is rapid fire, so it wipes them out. As soon as I made my way above ground, I just started running for the boss fight. I didn't bother with the side objectives. So we're above ground. After crashing randomly after the fight just started, because it's New Vegas, I had a pretty easy time fighting across the top of the dam. They attack from behind sometimes, but we've got so much backup from the NCR that they didn't stand a chance. NCR Rangers are super hard-hitting, and the Legion just didn't stand a chance. We fought our way across the top of the dam easily. Here we are, the Legate's camp. This is where the final boss fight is. Before we enter the camp and get trapped in, though, I slowly shoot at people that I can see from outside to lure them out and take them out early, as well as breaking into the dog pens to take them out before they can get unleashed on us during the fight. Gotta play it smart, after all. Getting surrounded is a great way to die. After finally clearing out everything in the first half of the camp, we have to walk to the final boss battle with the Legate. He talks some trash, and honestly, he's good at it. The dude is a walking tank with a sword, so I don't expect our gun to do much. So the fight itself is insane. He's got tons of backup, both long range and short range. Most of the fight is just us jumping up and down this little path, trying to get the melee guys to miss us. I kept having to use stim packs on Boone since his inventory was too full for him to do it himself. Honestly, I should have just gotten him to drop some weapons he wasn't using or something. He took tons of hits for us, probably the most useful thing he was doing at this point, considering most of the damage output came from us. Things were extremely hectic, and I was so close to taking at the leg gate when he finished off Boone. Sucks to have him die when there was maybe 10 Legion troops left before the end of the game, but I guess he went out doing what he loves. Shooting Caesar's Legion. Very shortly after he went down, we took out the leg gate, but I got swarmed by so many dudes that I had to fall back to a corner to heal. I was actually really worried when I was in this corner, because it was the only place to not get sniped by like 6 dudes. But I also saw 2 Praetorian guards just around the corner when I got there. I thought they'd just run around the corner and box me in, but they never showed up. After I was done taking out the guys shooting at me, I just popped around the corner and the 2 Praetorians were just sitting there. If they were just smart enough to jump me from around the corner, they would have won this whole thing for Caesar. After a while of that, they ran out of dudes. I put on the Legate's mask, stripped down to my boxers, and ran out to meet the NCR. The general lets us know that we're the coolest dude ever, and that we're a super big hero and all of that. Then we get the credits where they go over how we affected the world. Most of it is positive and makes sense. I mean, except this one.
Tired of waiting for the world to be done with him, Boone ventured into the wastes to make his own way out. Unable to clear his mind of the past, he was at last granted the death he'd awaited, bringing final rest to a life that had ended long ago.
Okay, so I can promise you that this ending from him is a lie. And I know it's a lie because I literally watched him die to the Legate. There's no way he drank himself to death or whatever this is trying to imply. Pretty sure his death came at the hand of a 5-foot-long blade. Well, that was crazy. I literally didn't know you could beat the game without talking to Benny, so that just happened. Really hope you guys like that run. Next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, when we do Pokemon Red with 1 Porygon. That's been requested a lot. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Alright, are y'all gonna forgive me if I just bypass the ad-libby outro thing this time? It's 2:15 and it's Friday. I work Monday to Saturday, and really need to get this voiceover done because this is a super long one, and I know this is a big project to edit, but I've been super busy the rest of the week with other work, and so I have 2 days to get this voiceover done and get the entire edit done. So it's a little bit of a time crunch, and it's 2:15, and I could not get breakfast down this morning. Don't know what it is, just couldn't eat. So I'm done the voiceover. I'm gonna go make myself something to eat, and hopefully just go to the editing zone for the rest of the day. I mean, assuming that the fridge repairman doesn't show up, because it seems like fridge repairmen are a myth at this point. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.